I want to take a moment tonight to talk about a real quick subject here, and that is buying the wrong gun. Now, a lot of us have been into guns for a while, or that have made a lot of gun purchases in our life, have made that mistake once, twice, or multiple times of buying the wrong gun. It's because we really don't stop to think sometimes. Sometimes you just buy a gun because it's cool, or you just get this bug up your butt that you want this certain gun, and you don't really even know that much about it. Or worse yet, we do this thing where we go on the internet and go, what gun should I buy? So you get a lot of people telling you what gun you should buy, and you might run out and buy a gun simply because it's the rage, it's the hot new gun, and it's really not the right gun for you. Like I hear all the time on my videos, people will just come out and ask me, hey, what's the best CCW gun? What gun should I buy for concealed carry? What's the best one? Or what would be the best gun for me? And I'm always like, well, how can I answer that question? I don't even know, like, how do you want to carry this gun? What factors in a gun are most important to you? What kind of guns do you shoot best? What kind of caliber do you like? What kind of caliber would be best for you? Do you have any conditions that would make it better for you to have certain guns over others? There are just lots of questions that need to be answered before I could ever even begin to ask that question, but a lot of people just have that mindset that someone can just tell them what gun to go buy. So the first thing I always tell people when they're going to try to decide to buy a gun, or they've already decided to buy a gun, they're trying to decide which one to buy, is to sit down and make a list. Make a list of what is this gun going to be used for? What are its main purposes? 1, 2, and 3. Like its most used purpose down to its least used purpose. And what factors are important to you? Do you want a double action trigger, a single action trigger? Do you want a safe external safety? Do you not want external safety? Is ease of use more important to you, or is capacity more important to you? Just list the features and kind of try to put them in an order of what's most important to you. And if you can give me a list of like what's going to be used for, what kind of trigger do you want, what features are most important to you, well then I could have a better chance of telling you, here are some guns you might want to look at. Another thing I always tell people when they're doing their gun research, I see people that they do all this research on the gun and they only look at the positive stuff. They want to see, and it is hard to find negative gun reviews because you got to remember a lot of the biggest gun reviewers are paid to do these reviews. So of course they're going to try to find the positive of every gun they have. But you always pay attention to the little subtle clues, like things that they make excuses for, like, oh, maybe it might do this, but that's not going to, you know what I'm talking about. And also, when you do see bad reviews, pay attention to them. Does that seem like something that would bother you? Is that something that would be a bad thing from your perspective? Or is it something you go, they might think that's a bad thing, but to me, I don't mind it at all. Like some guys would hate that there's an external safety on a gun, but you might be like, I wouldn't carry a gun if it didn't have an external safety. So like I say, we've all done it. We've all bought the wrong gun. Now, I myself, I've got a perfect example of buying the wrong gun. I have wanted a Glock 29 so many times, and I went out and bought it. I always buy it because I think it's cool. It's 10 millimeter. It's smaller. Like I say, it's got everything going for it that would make it seem like it'd be a great gun. But I always get it, and then I go shoot it, and I'm like, wow, this is just too much in too small of a package. It's just not pleasant to shoot. It's a little bit too big to carry. So I always end up selling it. I have bought and sold the G29 5 times. I mean, I've bought it and resold it 5 times. That's why I always made a joke that was the Glock that cost me like $900, because every time I buy it, I have to turn around and resell it at a loss and lose money. So that really adds on to the next time I buy it and have the same gun again. So I have made that mistake time and time again, so I really can't cast any stones at anybody for buying the wrong gun. But I've learned from my mistakes. So, like a week ago, when it was not a week ago, it was a couple days ago, I decided, I'm going to buy a new gun. I started sitting down and thinking, now what do I need? And I'm going to use my past experiences, use what I think I'm going to need the gun for, and sit down and make a list. And also use my experiences with guns like the G29 to know, okay, I do make bad mistakes, and let's try not to make those bad mistakes again. So after I sat down and did all that, I went out and bought a gun last week, and it was another Glock 29. I've never said I wasn't a moron, so let's hope that the 6th time is the charm. Whew. Why am I getting winded making a video? Not that fat.